Hello and welcome to another video tutorial for the Stamping Society online tutorial bundle. My name is Danielle Benning from the Netherlands, and in this video I'll show you how I made my project with the beautiful Friendship stamp set. This little gem is located on page 123 of the Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog, and it's a wonderful versatile stamp set with some beautiful distinctive watercolor images of flowers and some amazing, I think at least, sentiments in a beautiful font. I made a card with a lot of stamping, and it is a so-called ombre card because I used, for the different versions that I've made, colors that kind of go from light to dark. So for this first version I've used the following colors: Petal Pink for the hydrangea, Calypso Coral for the large flower image here in the middle, Terracotta Tile for the smaller rose images, and then Cajun Gray craze for the kind of like branch-like images. And then I combined it with some crumb cake for the leaves and some gold heat embossing. I finished the card off with some linen thread and some of the terracotta tile faceted enamel shapes. I also made a male version for this card, and I used 4 kinds of blue-green. I started with a pool party for the hydrangea. Coastal Cabana was used for the branch-like images, Bermuda Bay for the large flower image in the middle, and then Pretty Peacock for the smaller roses. And I also used some of the Pretty Peacock faceted dots to finish the card off. In addition, you'll see some spattering, and the spattering was made with a Stampin' Right marker in soft suede. Okay, for this card we're going to actually do a third version of an ombre card where I'm using all kinds of shades of yellow and orange. First off, I'll start with the base card, which is 14.5 centimeters by 21 centimeters, or 5.5 inches times 8.5 inches, and then you score it in centimeters at 10.5 centimeters and in inches at 4 1/4 of an inch. You'll add a colored cardstock mat on it, which in centimeters is 10 by 14 centimeters, and in inches it's 4 1/8 times 5 3/8 of an inch. I've chosen for all my cards one of the colors that are part of the ombre set. We'll put this base card aside, and you'll need another mat of very vanilla cardstock. By the way, don't know if I mentioned it, but my base card is very vanilla thick cardstock. And the mat in this case is Mango Melody. You'll find in the PDF all the different color cardstocks and inks I have used for the different versions of this card. In addition, you'll need a very vanilla mat of 9.5 centimeters times 13.5 centimeters, or 4 inches times 5 1/4 inch. You'll also need some scraps of very vanilla cardstock for the large flower image in the middle and for the sentiment. Okay, we're going to do some stamping. First of all, I start with the lightest color for the hydrangea, which I've chosen to be Pineapple Punch. Then I will use Crushed Curry for the rose image. I'll use Mango Melody for the large flower image, and I'm using Pumpkin Pie for the branch-like image. And then, of course, last but not least, I'm using Crumb Cake for the leaves. What I do want to tell you is that all the colors, except for the lightest one, are stamped off before stamping it on our background. This way you create a muted background and actually your own designer series paper. Good, we're going to start stamping. And we'll start be taking my Versamark and my little leaf images to stamp the gold leaves. In addition, I've taken a sentiment. This is a different sentiment than I've used in the samples. In the samples, I've used a very big congratulations and best wishes to you. Now I'm actually using so very happy to know you from the same stamp set. I am using my scraps of paper for the sentiment, and I'm taking an embossing body over the scrap, but also over my stamped mat to take away any grease that might have the powder adhere to it too, instead of just to the Versamark. Okay, we're gonna place these leaf images randomly over the background, and once again, it's okay if they cover some of the other images. So I'm actually going to cover the stamped images real quick with the powder, and then I'll see if I need to add some more, because of course for you it's hard to see where I stamped. Oh, I actually made a mess. We'll clean that up real quick. Hold on. Because I don't want to have embossing powder everywhere on my desk. You'll always see that when you do a video, because you're watching through the camera, that something like this goes wrong. But hey, you know, it happens to all of us if you see when you see it. I'm gonna add, I think, one more here, and I think that will be that for my embossing on the background. Like that. Then I'm going to take my scrap of paper and my sentiment and going to stamp that. Like that. Okay, I will heat up my heat tool and then emboss the images that we just stamped, and I'll do that with a sped up video, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, well, we've finished that. Now we're going to actually fussy cut the large flower image, and we're going to fussy cut the sentiment. And while looking at it, I will probably add a little bit more stamping with some crumb cake ink to the bottom here of this card. And I'm actually using the same little leaf image that I used to emboss. And I'm also gonna add one more here to create a little bit more dimension. Okay, I'll be fussy cutting this flower image and the sentiment, and then I'll be right back. together. We'll take our base card and we're going to actually add our stamped and embossed mat to the card with some liquid glue. And before we add the rest of our images, we're going to actually spatter a little bit. I'm taking a Stampin' Right marker. In this case it is soft suede, and I'm taking the brush tip. You'll always see with the stripes which kind of tip it is. So this is the small tip and this is the brush tip. And I'm actually going to take the lid of the marker and just flick it against the tip, and then you'll get some nice spattering just to add some interest. Okay, we'll grab our large flower image and some dimensionals, and I'm just going to add those to the back. And before I'm adhering this flower image to the card, I'm going to add a couple of swirls of linen thread. And I really like how it fits with the crumb cake style color in combination with the ombre looks. It's a very neutral thread. When you look at the image, you want to actually have a loop below the smaller image and on top of the higher image. So I always put it around my fingers a couple of times, and then I know how much I need, and then I cut it off. And adhere it to the stamping dimensional. And I do the same on the other side. And I put that one on the other end of the flower. And now I can just put down the flower image in the middle of the card and then push it down. Gorgeous. And then I'm using some of the mini dimensionals to adhere my sentiment to the middle of that large flower. Like that. And to finish it off, I do not have a faceted dot in a orange or yellow color, so I'm taking a gold faceted dot to finish it off. I'm taking the largest one and put it on this side of the flower, and then I'm taking a medium and a small one to add it to this side of the flower. So this is my yellow and orange ombre version, and I will grab the other two versions. See whatever is your favorite. I'm very curious to see what other ombre combinations you will come up with. I do think that this one is my favorite, and I'm hoping that you like this video and that you make your own version. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully see you next time. Bye bye.